What's up, everybody? It's She-Hulk, episode 6. This is a spoiler discussion. I'll be honest, I don't know how long this discussion is going to be. So it's the 6th episode in a show that, to me, the first 2 episodes I enjoyed very much so. Thought it was a good blend of Marvel and the humor that they were going for and everything in general that I thought. Some people are complaining about how it was too comedy, and I was like, look, I'm normally that person, but I think this is a good blend of both mixing the Marvel storylines with this balancing of law and relationship and all that. Episode 3, I was like, all right, this is fine. And then the tone started getting a little too silly for me. And then 4 was, and 5th was my least favorite because it was just focusing on a trademark the whole time. And there was, and it just seemed to be more bits, and nobody seemed real. This episode is, it almost took me, I don't know. The show's not for me anymore. It just isn't. I still think that the performances are great. I think Tatiana Maslany is I love her. I think she's amazing. There's certain times when she's in this episode and the way that just she naturally reacts. I think she's great. And I know so many people who love this show. But it lost me. And I think by the time you get to the end of the episode where they're trying to take out She-Hulk and there's like this big needle or something and it's like, oh, there's a threat. I'm like, I don't know if I really feel it at all. And then it's like the whole thing, it drives me crazy when it's like, it's the same thing like last episode. She walks in, there's literally 2 Hulks in the entire world. And one of them walks in, the designer goes, oh, I can't work on you. It's the only female Hulk in the world. You would work on her and you would give her a suit immediately if you were smart. Oh, no, I can't. You're too frumpy. The whole part of the show is that you're not as important as you should be. Like and a million times, and they hammer it down 1,000 times over in this episode too. She shows up and her friend is like, oh, why are you showing up as the Hulk? Why are you taking attention away from me? First of all, if you know that your friend for so long that you haven't talked to forever is a She-Hulk, call her up and say, listen, just do me one favor. Don't show up as She-Hulk because of the thing. That's one. It's a phone call. That doesn't happen. You got to do it and because we got to show that the only time she feels confident, that's now being stripped away from her. So then the other stuff is like the whole time they're asking her to clean shirts. What? They're asking her to clean up. We get it. No one finds her important. There's one guy that talks to her like a normal person because we need to like him. No one else talks to her like a human. Why is she there? Leave. Get out of there. It's like the second someone asks me to clean up the mess, if I'm a bridesmaid or a groomsman, and they ask me, I go, take that in your face. I'm out of here. This dump. Tatiana Maslany, she's awesome. And this episode, it was like a bridesmaids episode is what they were doing. The whole episode was like a wedding episode as opposed to like the trademark episode. And then it turns into, at the very end, she fights Titania again. And it's like watching 2 wrestlers who have just fought enough. And you're like, what's the new feud? I'm over this feud. And then She-Hulk punches Titania in the face, just slow motion. Okay. And then she falls and breaks her face. She-Hulk punching you in the face didn't do that to you, but falling on your face did? This episode drove me nuts. And it's just like, and there'd be people who go like, whoa, you're just expecting Daredevil. Nah, people are bitching about not seeing Daredevil in this one. You'll see him eventually. The only reason that, to me, that it's a relevant conversation is because I think it's going to finally tie in to the mixture. I like the idea of having this comedy inside of this Ally McBeal universe and connecting it all the way through. But you didn't get any of that until the very end, until they're scrolling up and they're seeing this, the Reddit thread or whatever the hell it is, was saying like, hey, we're coming after her. We're going to figure, and that's at the very end of it. After you're going this back for the whole storyline with the guy with all the wives and everything too. It's like, I get it. It's just to establish that the best friend is now coming into her own and being able to be good also. But even all that stuff, it's like all these women who have been wronged are sitting there, and she's okay with 30 minutes or 30 seconds of eye contact. I don't know. It's just, and I get it. They told you. They said, look, it's a situational. It's a sitcom, and it's like I don't know. The Marvel Cinematic Universe to me, I think the problem is I'm doing a rewatch of the entire MCU right now, and this is so far removed from the idea. Like you can put humor in the MCU and still make the characters feel real. Nobody feels real in this. Let me take that back. The majority of the time, the characters don't feel real because I don't know if there was a more real moment. Jennifer Walters is sitting. Has this conversation. The dude comes over to starts talking to her, and it's the honesty and how good Tatiana Maslany is. He says this line to her, which I thought was a sweet moment. He says to her, "Hey, my goal was to find the attractive woman who's eating the walnuts," and she's like, she makes, and just this face and reaction that she has that's so real. Those are the kind of moments that I really like in this show. And combined with that, it's the stuff of like just hammering over how she's so attractive, which she's a very attractive woman in general. She's dancing by herself. Nobody's having, every person at this wedding, minus this one guy, is an asshole. The DJ's an asshole. The friends are assholes. Everyone's an asshole. Nobody. I've been to tons of weddings where majority of people are assholes. There's always a couple good people, and I find those people to talk to and talk about the assholes. But that's not what happens. And it's like when the first thing when she's like, "Hey, the maid or somebody didn't show up. Can you do it?" She should have said, "Fuck you." But yeah, I'll do it, and then just don't do it. That's part one. And then when the friends do it, "Oh, we hear you're wiping stuff up." She should have wiped her ass with it and thrown it in their face. She shows up, and then at the end of it, the drunk bride is happy now that She-Hulk's at her wedding. It's too goofy. It's too goofy. But I'm also not going to sit here and go, "Why are they doing this show? They shouldn't be doing this show." The show is just losing me. It's not losing a lot of other people. People love this show, and that's awesome. It's great. And I think it's silly for people to scream and yell and say, certain things. Like, you can make your criticisms about it. You can say what you don't like about the episode. I certainly just did in this review. But choose to watch it, choose to move on, and let people like what they like. If you dig this episode, then it's for you, and you should enjoy it. Now, I could all day long tell you, don't hate. That's what the internet's for. That's what people are going to tell you. And, people are going to scream and yell at me for those who, you should hate it because they're ruining Marvel. Watch something else. And other stuff coming out. But the show's losing me. And it's a bummer because I really like those first two episodes a lot. I think she's great. I think the performances are great. And they're doing, I think all the performances they're doing what they're being asked to do. It's just, I'm just not into the format, I think. So, I don't know. It could change. They could switch it up. You could come back. But this one wasn't for me. I'm curious, though, if you guys liked it. Did you dig it? If you did, tell me what you like. And maybe you're enjoying the format, and maybe it's I think that that's for some people also, is that they feel it's a departure from the stuff that I'm looking for, right? And they like that. They like that everything. Sometimes it's too serious, and there's not enough of this kind of escapism, and this is kind of the show, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, and I like that. And I think that's fair. I just like the connection of it all. But let's hear what you think. I want to know. Go ahead. And if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor and subscribe. You can do it over there. I'm going to get this right one of those times. Look at that. I'm almost touching it. Now I am touching it. I just did. So go ahead and do that. And that's all she wrote. Thank you guys for joining me here today. We'll be back a little later on for Big Thing. Got myself, Roxy. No, Roxy's not on today. Steph and Brett are on today. So we have fun conversations. We hope you enjoy. All right, that's She-Hulk. That's the episode. See you next week.